All except Facebook destinations. Go live to send messages to Facebook. What does that mean? Oh, haha, that's what it means. I'm getting good at this. Okay. Hey, Cammie. Hey, Vader Clark. Hope you guys are well. I know it's a little late for me. Hey, Moonlight.
See whatever, Richard. Thank you. I don't know if I gave you one of my cards. There it is. I did. I think I did. I'll set it down. Oh, it's all right. There you are. Yeah. So the reason we wanted to talk to you is about the, like I said, the abnormality case. Okay. And appreciate your time doing that. And as a formality, before we talk to anybody about these things, I want to make sure you understand you're not under arrest or anything like that. Okay. And the door. Sure which this is Miranda warning. So before I ask any questions, you understand your rights to the right to remain silent. Any they can be used against you in court.
Excuse my loudness. I'm trying to fix the audio. It's kind of shitty on this thing. I don't know why it's so bad. I guess they don't have high-tech equipment. But we're gonna fix it, guys. This is a little bit better. All right, let's try again. What do you guys think? Do you think that Richard did it? I'm not sure. I mean, It's a rough one. I don't know. You don't think so? All right, let's get this started and see if it sounds any better.
See you later, Richard. Thank you. I don't know if I gave you one of my cards. There it is. I think you did. I probably set it down. Oh, it's right there. You are. Good. So, the reason we wanted to talk to you is about the abnormality case. Okay. And, I appreciate your time in doing that. And as a formality, before we talk to anybody about these things, I want to make sure you understand you're not under arrest or anything like that, okay? And the door here is open. You can leave anytime you want. I'd be glad to give you a ride back or whatever. So, but we need to make sure that we go cover a formality here. And I'm going to get to the page here where this is a Miranda warning. So before we ask any questions, you need to understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask any questions and have it with you during questioning. If you cannot afford a lawyer, we'll be appointed for you before you question if you wish. If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you have the right to stop answering anytime. You also have the right to stop answering anytime you talk to a lawyer. Like I said, you're not under arrest, so we just want to make sure you understand those rights. Down here at the bottom, it says, I read the statement of our rights and understand our rights. I do not want a lawyer at this time, and I understand what I am doing. No promises or threats have been made to me, and no pressure or coercion of any kind has been used against me. If you'd be willing to talk with us, or just if you understand your rights, we just need your signature that we chart. Okay? Okay. Now, this is a formality we take care of whenever we talk to anyone.
We're just going back to the beginning of the case, and we know you had talked to Lieutenant Doolin. We just want to figure out what you saw when you were out there before.
You think he believes them? Look at his face. Hey, Mr. P.
Great, wonderful. Okay. Now, Tony brought up something that you had done when initially you had talked to Lieutenant Doolin. And according to Lieutenant Doolin, the information he got to you was that you were on the trail between 1:30 and 3:30. Does it make any sense? Okay. And that you had parked at the old Farm Bureau building. I think that may have been the old welfare office out there. Well, while at the Freedom Bridge, you saw three females and noted that one was taller and had black or brown long hair. This is basically what he had written down. Okay. And maybe even got some information about your phone or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. So now you understand everything. So I want to make sure that we just kind of get some information from you. We get started here off the bat with today's date, which is Thursday. And today is 10/13 of 22. What time do you have, Tony?
It's 11:45.
10:45. And your full name is?
Richard.
H-A-R-D.
Matthew. Allen.
That's A-L-L-E-N.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how old are you now?
50 years old.
Okay. Your date of birth?
99/72.
Okay, great. Could I ask you to write down the X is that right there?
I'm in the 50-year-old club this year.
Yeah. I'm beyond that, actually. So.
Just turned. No.
Sorry. Hard to believe. And do you know your driver's license number off the top of your head?
No.
Don't worry about it. The home address, I didn't get it when I was out there. What is it?
1967.
67.
White man. Drive.
Okay. And the phone number we contacted that?
317-612-4533.
Would you have a water? I got one right here, John.
Oh, okay, sure. I'll be right back.
And do you have any of their cell phone numbers that you can be contacted by?
I got my wife's number.
Okay, what is her phone number?
317-612. 4753. Never dial numbers anymore.
You know, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, okay. And how long have you had that phone number that's your 317 number?
I believe I got it when I worked at Indy, so it would have been prior to 2006.
Okay.
Because it's an Indy number.
Okay. Okay. So, let's see. And can I ask what kind of phone you have?
It's an Android, a Google.
Okay. Yeah. What's your email address?
RICK2045 @frontier.com.
Do you have any other email addresses? I have a couple myself, so I asked.
Yeah, I don't use it very often. It's Foojaka, FOOJACKA 0 @gmail.com. And I had one at Yahoo at some point too, but I don't remember what it was.
Okay, great. What on social media did you do applications that you use, like Facebook, at all? Do you have a Facebook account?
Well, my wife does, I don't.
Sounds so familiar. Okay.
So he was on the bridge that day. After they saw the stuff on the phone, they asked for anybody who was around or on the trails that day to please come forward. He did. They wrote down his name. He met with the officer in a parking lot and to interview him. So he interviews him, whatever. They make a file for each and every tip that's reported in. They had Richard Allen Whiteman, but Whiteman's actually the street that he lives on. But either way, they had written cleared on his file, filed it away. Then Kathy Shanks, a lady who was checking tips years later in 2022, finds that file and wonders why he's cleared. If he was on there that day, it didn't seem like there was enough information or whatever. She takes it to the chief, who then takes it to the detectives. The detectives then go here and do this. Then there's another interrogation after this one. So this one's October 30th.
Okay. And does she post often? Things like
She's,
on there all the time?
and she does.
Okay, all right. So what is your marital status?
Married.
Married, okay. And have you been married before?
No.
Okay. Number of children you were talking about, your kid, your daughter?
I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm saying 30th. It is 13th. Sleuth Investigates is completely correct. 13th, not 30th.
What's your name again?
Rick. Oh, my daughter. Rick Jr. Now, BRITT A-N-Y.
Okay. And how old is Brittany now? You said the math earlier.
28,
28. Okay. She's born when? You said
1994.
4. Okay. And what's her last name now?
Zapanta. Z-A-P-A-N-T-A.
Okay. And any grandkids?
No.
Okay. And what's her husband's name? Is he from around here?
He's originally from the Philippines,
Oh, okay.
but lived in Canada, and he's been here shortly before they got married, so around 16, maybe 15, 16,
Okay.
I don't know. They got married in 17.
What's his name?
Paulo, P-A-U-L-O.
Okay. P-A-U-L-L? Oh, I put another one.
P-A-U-L-O.
I got it. Okay. All right. So, but he lived here for a while. I never assumed Zapanta's being around here.
No, not around here.
Around here?
No.
Maybe somebody else.
He was already up in Napanee when she met him.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Graduated from high school. We're at
North Miami.
what year?
91.
Okay. And any other vocational training, college classes?
Went to Ivy Tech, like a couple semesters.
What'd you study there?
Accounting.
Okay. Any other vocational training or? Okay.
Well, I was in the military, but
Oh, okay. That's the question coming up here. Were you involved in any fraternal organizations, clubs, or athletics, or anything like that in school?
I did some track here and there. I did football for like a year, but nothing serious.
Okay. Any clubs or National Honor Society or something like that?
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Need it.
Military service, so what branch?
National Guard, Army National Guard.
And what was highest rank achieved?
E5 sergeant.
Okay, mostly around here? Or
No, it was in, I was born right, well, not born, but I lived in Mexico most of my life.
Mexico, like in
Indiana.
Indiana, like in Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay.
You always get that. Yeah, Mexico, Puerto Denver. Yeah.
Okay, all
It was
right.
Mexico.
Yeah, okay.
But it was Peru was where I was in the National Guard at, sorry.
All right. Go to church anywhere?
No.
Have you ever?
On occasion, nothing.
Okay. Where did you usually go to? Any place around
I
here?
don't even know. No, not around here.
All right. Parents go to church, or did they take you to church?
No, my grandparents went to church. My parents didn't.
Oh, I see. Okay. Any criminal history? You've been arrested for anything? Any medical problems, heart trouble, high blood pressure, psychological disorders?
Oh, yeah. Did everything.
Okay.
I've had a heart attack. I've got a couple stents.
Okay.
And,
How long ago was your heart attack?
2010.
Okay, you were 40.
37.
Holy cow. Mm-hmm. And anything else?
Depression, anxiety, high blood pressure, cholesterol.
All right. And you're working at CVS. So you said you've been there how many years?
Since, well, not the one here, but was
Don't these seem a little weird? And I'm going to speed it up a little. I'm used to listening to things on like 1.75, but hold on. Yeah, he does make kind of a good point saying, well, I don't know how it got there either. Fuck you asking me for? I don't know. That doesn't necessarily mean anything that he doesn't know, but he's like, I don't know either. What the hell do you want me to do about it? All right, I'm going to put it out 1.25. You let me know if that is okay with you guys, okay? I listen to everything super fast, but hey, Audrey. It was very interesting to see him being interviewed for sure.
The times it was, I left my mom's probably around 11:15. So I think I would have been out there because I didn't do anything else. It would have been around noon, I thought, is when I was out there. Walked down to High Bridge. Always went out just a little way, throw away. Went out a little way and watched the fish. See if I seen any fish down there because I like fishing. And walked back and sat on the, when you turn around and go down the other fork, there's a bench that overlooks it. And sat there for a few minutes and walked down the, walked back out and left. Okay. What was your first comment? Said there was the big parking lot wasn't there at the time, right? Oh, you mean which one? Where the bridge is at? I don't think it was there. So there's a, if you went over behind, there's a back road that went up and there was a bridge, not the main bridge. There's a small bridge where you could park there, or you could park over on the other side. And I remember I didn't park over there where the, it's a farmer's entrance or something. I remember I didn't park there because I had told him something about there were a couple vehicles there when I left, so I parked somewhere. We were parked over on the bridge side, or there used to be a little building there. I could have parked there. There was a trail until they got the whole thing done.
Yeah, I don't like this on 1 point. No, I don't like it. I don't like it because it is making him look nervous. We'll just give it a tiny little something, okay? Just a little bit.
Can you open my hand?
Okay.
What was going on Monday, February the 13th? You can tell us what you were doing that day and remember the day the girls
Okay.
on the trail.
Okay. Yeah. I went over to my mom's in Peru, Mexico, earlier in the day. I think my mom had hip surgery back then or something. But regardless, my wife was working, so I went over there and spent the day. Not today. I spent.
This audio is going to make me insane. Okay? I do not appreciate this terrible audio. I really don't. I really don't. I know I want it to be perfect and it's not going to be because the quality is shit, but
The morning with them. My sisters come over and they were going to go eat lunch and stuff, and I wasn't about that, so I went home. And I remember it was a fairly warm day, or warmer than normal, so I think I just put a jacket on and went back out to the trails. Usually when we go, we walk down to High Bridge and walk back and walk down the other side and come back. I mean, it wasn't a ritual, but I remember walking down to the bridge. times. It was, I left my mom's, it was probably around 11:15. So I think I would have been out there, because I didn't do anything else. It would have been around noon, I thought, is when I was out there. Walked down to High Bridge. Always went out just a little way, all the way. Went out a little ways and watched the fish. See if I seen any fish down there, because I like fishing. And walked back and sat on the, when you turn around and go down the other fork, there's a bench that overlooks it. And sat there for a few minutes and walked down the, walked back out and left.
Okay. Anything else you heard? What was your first recovery?
Said there was, the big parking lot wasn't there at the time, right?
Oh, you mean which one was
Like where the bridge is at, there's a, I don't think it was there. So there's a, if you went over behind, there's a back road that went up and there was a bridge, not the main bridge, there was a small bridge where you could park there, or you could park over on the other side. And I remember I didn't park over there where the, it's a farmer's entrance or something. I remember I didn't park there because I had told him something about, there were a couple vehicles there when I left, so I parked somewhere, either parked over on the bridge side or, there used to be a little building there, I could have parked there. There was a trail until they got the, whole thing done.
Okay. When you're talking about the bridge, just so I'm clear, you're talking about that big blue bridge, the Freedom Bridge or whatever that goes over the highway?
Well, that's the big blue bridge, but before that was there was a, if you're going out of town, you would take the road that I think is where the park is, it veers on, it winds off this way, and there's a road, the first road you come, well, I don't know if it's the first road, but there's a road that takes off to the right, and there's houses, and then it just kind of turns into a lane, and there's a small bridge up there, before, I mean, I think it's still there if you were,
Like the one, okay, so are you talking about the one-lane bridge kind of that goes over the street?
it wasn't used. It wasn't a bridge that was used, I guess is what I'm saying. It was just, there was a parking area up there that you could park. Okay. And that's where people used, that's where quite a few people would park before they, I mean, now there's a nice parking space, but before it was either you parked there or you parked over in the farmer's thing. And I mean, at one point they had it marked that they didn't want you parking there, so and I know it wasn't over there because I told him something about some cars that were there, so I went and parked up on the bridge side of things, I guess is what I'm saying. I guess I'm lying.
So this is kind of an overview of the area. So obviously this is the Blue Bridge here over the Heartland Highway.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, yeah, can you mark on where you think you parked, John?
Show me the Blue Bridge again.
Blue Bridge, here's the Heartland Highway. Here's Main Street. The road that comes out from downtown goes out onto Heartland. And here's the Andersons. I think that's going to be their fertilizer plant and done.
There's the, oh, that's the Blue Bridge. I mean, it's right there. It would have been over in here somewhere probably.
Well, that's one of the parking areas. Okay. And then they
Or it would have been, there's a old building somewhere over.
This map was taken back when the building was still there. And this is the building that was on the bridge, the trail side of the bridge.
Okay.
So down
You went this way. I think you went down this way and like
There was-
an underpass or something.
Yep, that's right. And then there's a building right there, if you can see it.
Okay. So it would either have been there or there.
Okay. Very good. Which way do you think you would have traveled to get to this building that particular day? Do you remember?
Just that way it loops around.
Okay.
I don't know the names of the roads or anything. I can show you where I drove, but it just on the way, the road that goes out, it's basically the same way that you get to this one, except no, it's further up, and you go down, and it like comes down and goes around somewhere and comes over on the other side.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Was it ever an occasion where you might have gone to the park another way? Did you go out here very often? I should ask you.
Not like I would say often. I mean, we go out. We may go once a month. We may go twice in 1 week. I mean, it was just kind of one of those where when we felt like walking the trail, I mean, I could say we visited it regularly. During the summer months, we didn't really go out there much in the winter. We may have gone on a time or two. But.
Right. Okay. So was it ever something was there ever a time that you guys took another path to get out there besides going around this way, or do you remember anything like that?
I think there's a way if you go past where you park the farmer's entrance that I was telling you about.
I think it's down here. There's an entrance across from a residence that's a farmhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make any sense?
Okay, yeah. Okay. I mean, I know that there's a way that winds around, and you can eventually get back to 200 or whatever road it is. We're off of 200 North, I think it is. It comes out somewhere down there, but we only did that. I think we found that by accident one time. We thought we'd go that way and try to get back, and it was we eventually came out that way somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But no, I wouldn't. If we were going to go there, we would go down through town and.
Okay. Good enough. All right. So let's talk more about what you remember doing that day, remember seeing that day.
Okay.
You gave an account to
Sure.
The officer who talked to you. And you remember how that was prompted, how that happened, that you happened to talk to the officer?
I don't remember if it was the next day or a couple days, but shortly after they were asking for anybody that was there to come in. So I went down. I got home from work and my wife said, they want to talk because I had obviously told her that I was there. And said they want to talk to anybody that was down there and they have any information on how much, but I obviously will go down. So we went down to the sheriff's station and I don't remember who it was, came out and talked to me and said that he would get my name and information. And then I was driving downtown for something, and I know that I remember he called me when I was in the car because I pulled over and talked to him. It was a DNR officer. Okay. And he asked me if I could come down and talk there or if I want to meet somewhere. And I don't remember how or that. I think they're really busy, obviously, crowded probably. So I was heading down to, it was the stable lot, parking lot down there, and I told him I would just meet him there if that was okay. So he came down, we talked. He looked at my phone, took my phone information, and I think got some, we took the battery out and everything, and he got information on those. So that's pretty much it. And I gave him the account. Forgive me, it's been years, and I thought about it a lot. As time goes on, it's, like I said, I think I was there probably around noon. It could have been a little before noon or a little after noon. Walked down, back an hour, so probably 1:30, 1:45, depending on exactly what time it was that I got there that day. I just remember walking down the trail, and I had told him that when I was approaching the trailhead, I guess is what I call it, there was 3 girls walking off the trail, and I just remember it looking like one of them was probably watching, not babysitting, but watching the other 2 because they looked a little younger, and they looked very similar. I don't know if they were sisters or whatever, but the other one didn't necessarily. But I remember seeing them walking off the trailhead, and I didn't really see anybody. I walked down, like I said, I looked at the water, I walked back, and I said, somebody could walk behind me, I guess, but I said on that bench that overlooks the creek bed and all that. And I remember telling him when I left, I remember there being, I think there was 2 vehicles down there on that farmer's entrance that I told you about. Mm-hmm. And that's why I know I didn't park there, because obviously I wouldn't recall seeing cars there if I parked there.
The farmer's entrance, are we still talking about this area here, or is there some other location here?
There's a pull-in, like right next to the trail, is all I can tell you. There's a pull-in right next to trail, and a trail actually leads up to the trail.
Yeah, it's hard to see from here, but I think this is what's called the old Mears.
There was a farmhouse across from it, is all I knew.
Right.
And it was like I guess it looked like where you take farm equipment in and out or something, but I know at one point they flagged it that it said no parking, so we didn't park there for a period of time, but.
Did you ever park there before when you went?
Yeah.
A lot of times you did. Okay.
I mean, we used to when it wasn't marked.
Mm-hmm.
We did a cleanup down there one time I brought a bunch of Walmart people, kind of a community engagement thing. And we did a cleanup down there. It's the year that they tore down. We tore down that, if you go down, not the High Bridge way, but that one where I sit on the bench.
Yeah.
That I was talking about. If you go down that hill, there used to be a little shed, a little shack down there, and they tore that. And we were there that day that we tore that down.
Okay. Yeah. Now, you guys did that with Walmart. Was that the local Walmart you worked at?
Lafayette.
Lafayette. Okay. The one in Commerce or the one on
Commerce.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. So you guys came up and did that. Do you know when that was?
Oh Lord, no. Well,
It was before you did this.
2006. Oh, it would have been. I wasn't even with. It was what, 17?
Yep. When I was right 13. So
I wasn't even with Walmart at the time. I would have already been with CPS. Yeah.
okay. So sometime in the
Yeah, I would have known before. I mean, I went to CBS in, I said 13, so it would have had to been before 13.
okay. So you're out there then working on the trails.
I'm going to say a lot earlier than that because I worked in Chicago, south of Chicago, for a couple of my last years with Walmart when I was actually running that store. So probably around 9, 10 maybe.
Okay. All right. Somewhere around there. So you were working out there in trails. Have you been familiar with the trails before then? Was there a time that you had been out trails before then?
We had walked, after we moved to Delphi, I mean, we started experimenting. I mean, there were trails that we didn't know were there, but, you hear about one and you go, and I'm sure by that point, well, obviously I know by that point I knew about them because that's how I got associated with the Dan something or other that runs the Erie, I think it was Dan, run like the Erie Canal thing,
Mm-hmm.
and McCain.
Okay.
I don't remember how I became acquainted with him, but I asked him because at Walmart, as a leader, they always want you to be involved in the community. And I mean, it's a good thing,
Sure.
but you can also give money to because we brought so many people out for that event for a day, we had so many hours and we were able to donate money because of that from Walmart to the Erie Canal Foundation or whatever. So we worked, I guess the question is, yeah, I did on the trails before that day.
Mm-hmm.
And we also worked out at the Carrollton Bridge that day. There's a towpath or something. We got some stuff on there too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, makes sense. All right. Well, that's good.
So, I sat there for a few minutes and left. And like I said, there were a couple of vehicles. I may have told him the exact makes. I'm not sure. I just remember one was like a sedan, and I think maybe one was an SUV. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Have to look back at what I said that I interviewed with him.
And that was at the, you call farmer's entrance, those cars were at the farmer's entrance?
Yes.
What about where you parked? Were there
No
vehicles?
I know there were no vehicles where I parked because I don't remember telling it. I mean, if you asked, I didn't see anything there. That
Okay.
A lot of people would park at that farmer's entrance because I'm thinking that was probably when they didn't really want you parking there, and that's probably why I didn't park there. But it's much closer to the trails, so a lot of people like to park there. You walk in and you're actually like halfway through the trail, so you can walk one way and the other and leave. And I know at one point, like I said, they didn't want you parking there, so we didn't.
So back then, if you told, he said his report said old Farm Bureau building. So would that be?
I never really knew what that building was. I just remember telling him there was a building there. And if that's where I told him I parked, that's probably where I parked. Because like I said, we would either park. Obviously, the farmer's entrance was always the most convenient, but there was a bridge, small bridge before the blue bridge. I probably I don't know if I got this right. This is Anderson's.
Yes.
So there's a little tiny, it used to be like a one-way bridge. It wasn't even a road anymore. Like, you could either go towards the Blue Bridge or you drive under it too. Yeah, I think you ride.
Now I call.
It wasn't, that parking lot wasn't there on the other side, so you didn't, but yeah, you would, you went, like I said, you take this road that forks off, coming out of Delphi somewhere, and then you take a right, and it's just a little road, and there's some people that live along it, but then at the end of the road, it goes up to this, like I said, there's like a parking area where people used to park.
I think I know where you're talking
I
about.
think you can't see it out here, but what you're describing is the road that leads up to this parking area that you're talking. It's out of the side of that. Side of the
Sure, probably, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, how far out of the bridge did you go that day when you were out there? Do you remember?
How far what?
How far out onto the high ridge?
I have no idea how many feet it is. The way I always know is there's one of those platform things that stick off the side, and I usually, years past, like 9, 10, 6, 7, between 6 and 10 probably. I've actually been across the high bridge back when it was in a little bit better shape, but somewhere in there, 8, 9, 10, somewhere it started getting pretty rugged and stopped going across it. But for the most part, I didn't go past that one whatever the thing is that sticks out. I'd go out there and kind of look. Like I said, fisherman, I'd look and see if I see any fish or anything, and then I went back the other way.
I think those were back in the day, if the train was coming and you were out there, that you could possibly at least get out of the train's way.
Exactly.
I think I would still want to be on it when the train came.
Exactly, yeah. Yep. So yeah, that day I don't remember what year it was, but it was well before 16, 17. I don't know, just decay.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
So if you were parked there, and correct me if I say anything.
The bridge?
Over here, in that building, I'm sorry. So if you're parked there, how did you get on the trail? Where did you walk?
At one point, you either walked down the road, but then at one point they had a trail there. Not I wouldn't even call it a trail. They had a gravel path that led to the new thing that they were doing. I call it the trailhead. When they started doing all that, there was a trail that would, I think it ran along the road, if I remember right, and then it just cut over to where the trailhead was at. You couldn't really park up. I just remember where that path was at. You could park there, but it's no parking. So you had to walk. You either parked over here and just, it was actually closer if you went over here and you could just walk the bridge that way. And if you went this way, it was a little bit further because you walked along the road there.
So you were going to walk along the road, or was there a path in there?
At one point, I think you walked along the road. Honestly, I don't even remember. Where's the trails here? That's why I said at some point, it was probably after they put that little pathway in that we even parked there. I don't think we ever even used that until they put that path there, and it was just because it was the only way to get to trailhead from that side. And like I said, at one point, they didn't want you parking down here at this bumper thing, so they had put in a gravel path in, and you would park there. So you either parked over there, or you parked there and walked down the gravel path. And the path cut over to like where the trailhead thing is. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't know that we ever parked at that little building, whatever it was, until they laid that gravel path to it. I think we thought that was a new, I guess, designated parking area, and that's when we parked there once in a while. We still park over here once in a while. It just depended on which. And like I said, there was times when we parked there on and off whenever they didn't have it posted. They didn't want you parking there. And we probably did a time or two when they did have it posted, but we didn't make a habit of it.
So that car that was in your garage, would that have been what you drove out there that day?
Oh my God. Let me think here. It would have either been that one or our Great Ford 500. We kind of switch vehicles back and forth. It's kind of because I've oftentimes worked further away from home, and when I was working in Peru, the car's what do I say? It's a 16. So prior to that, I'd had a little red Focus. And our trucks we get our truck at like 4 o'clock in the morning. So on truck day, I'd be driving over to Pruitt at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And one day I was driving, I was tired. I mean, there's lots of times to be tired, but this day I was just so tired, like to the point I almost and should have just pulled over. But I made it over there, and I turned off. Didn't take the highway all the way up. I took the turn off that takes you in the back way to Peru, and made it all the way in town. And literally, I fell asleep, and I woke up when my airbag went off. I veered off the road and hit a SUV parked on the side of the road. And literally, that's when I woke up. Like, I didn't even know. It took me several seconds, if not a minute, to get my bearings and even figure out what had happened. I still didn't know because when it hit the SUV, it threw it clear up over the sidewalk into somebody's front porch. I literally didn't brake at all. I was asleep, so I hit it full speed. So anyway, I get out, and there's not even anything there. I'm like, what did I hit? And there was a person stopped on the other side of the road. Anyway, long story short, they called the police, blah, 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 and I had to that's when I bought that black car.
Mm-hmm. The black car being the 16?
The one in the garage.
Okay.
And so I got that car because I have to drive back and forth and something gets good gas mileage. So my point is I was driving the black car, and then when I transferred and came back to Delphi, I didn't need the gas mileage anymore, and it was a nicer car, so I gave it to my wife. And from that time until earlier this year, I drove the gray car and she drove the black car. Now, if I was going somewhere out of town, a lot of times I would use the black car, depending on how far we're going. Well, the gray car was dependable, but it's just one of those where the longer, I guess, more recently, I started driving, if I was going to go to Lafayette or something for an appointment or whatever, I'd take the black car just because it's more dependable. And
Yeah, she works it.
But anyway, yeah, and then from during that time period, I drove the gray Ford 500, and she would drive the black car, had her old cat license plate and all that on it. And then when I got her van, the gray car pretty much had it. It was either, I had that in a truck as well. I had a truck for, 3-4 years. If I bought it used, and we didn't drive it hardly ever. Or it was one of those where I get rid of them while they're still worth something, so we traded them both in, and I got the van that she drives now. And then I went back to driving the black car. So
it's like, I remember you said you were going to Miami County to see Mexico. Would you have planned to drive the black car because that's a trip out of town?
I wouldn't have planned out. During that time, it was still, the gray car was still, it's not like it's a junk car. We bought it brand new. It was 2006. But I just said in the last, 3-4 years, it's not, the car didn't run though. It's just one of those where it's old enough that, you don't want to get over somewhere. Because usually if I am driving it, it's because she's at work and I don't want to end up having to get stranded somewhere. But that was more recently, so that's why I don't know which, it was either the gray or the black one that day. It would have been, because the black one would have been a gray one.
Okay.
It was an 06 Ford 500.
So then, you get on the trails and you say you saw 3 girls. Where was you saw the 3 girls?
They were up around the trail. I mean, I didn't interact with them. It was up around the trailhead somewhere.
So you walked through.
Like when I say they were leaving, yeah.
Okay.
I'm assuming they were leaving where they came from, down where those cars parked, and they were going to go back that way. I don't know.
Okay. And then, did you see anybody else when you were out there?
Anybody, nobody stood out, I guess. I mean, if I did see somebody, it didn't click with me. And of course, my memory was a lot better when I talked to him that day. I don't remember seeing, like I told him, there may have been somebody on the bridge or something when I was coming back through, but I didn't. The only ones that I really noticed seeing were the 3 girls.
Okay.
As I was walking towards them, and I mean, they obviously stood out. And like I said, I remember it looked like an older girl with 2 younger girls.
Okay.
Just walking the trail.
Okay.
And I guess I assumed that he was probably watching them or in charge of them or whatever.
And okay. If you thought you might have saw somebody when you were coming back through from the bridge, where they were on the bridge?
I don't really remember seeing anybody that day, but I don't know. So if I did see somebody else, they didn't jump out to me or anything else. I don't, like I said, it could have been people down around the cars, but I don't remember. I just remember seeing a couple cars parked over there. Like I said, they had an SUV or something like that.
Okay. And then when you got back to your car, was there any other
cars when you got back to your car? I don't think so. Well, no, because I would have thought through that now.
Okay.
Or just been mine.
Do you know where you went afterwards when you left there?
I went home that day. I always watched the stock market and
You know,
trade the stocks a
that
little.
was something else that they whenever the recorded something about the stock market. Tell us about that.
I just had a individual trading account
Mhm.
with Daytech originally, and I think it was TD Ameritrade. I trade stocks, try to get rich. Lose money.
Did that work for you?
On and off it did. It worked really terribly there for a while. I don't even do it anymore. That's just too much of a risk.
So did you have a phone or a watch or something you were looking at the stock market on, or?
I think so. I had a program on my phone to watch stocks. I don't remember exactly when and how long I had it, but yeah, I had a program that I could, depending on the reception you had, of course. If you didn't have any reception, it wouldn't work. And
Was it fairly good out there that day?
And that's honestly, I think that's why I went home as quick as I did, because I wanted to get home and watch it on my computer with my stock tickers and all that stuff. So, because I remember doing that. That was like a hobby, I guess, for me, was watching the stock market and looking at charts and trying to predict what something's going to do and make money.
Yeah, that's way out of my league.
Well, it was mine too. I just didn't realize it was time.
And what were you wearing that day? I mean, you said you put on a jacket. You put on a jacket.
Blue jeans, and I'm sure I put on a jacket because I think it was still fairly cool that day. I don't think it was super warm. I would have put on a jacket. I don't know.
No, what kind of jacket you had back then?
I've had Carhartt jackets over the years.
Color is your jacket?
The one was blue, the one was black. Probably back then it would have been a black one. Had a hood built into it. So it was just a black zip up. Well, I don't even think it was a Carhartt. I think it was an all brand, but it was like a Carhartt. I could have worn that. I've had sweatshirts like what you're on today. Hoodies, jackets. I mean, I've got a little bit of everything. Fleece.
Anything else you maybe headgear or anything like that? Wasn't that warm that day, but wasn't that cold either.
Always kept a hat in my coat, so it would have been like a, I don't know what you call them, skull cap, or just not a big fluffy hat, but a small hat.
So, So cap on your head, and anything else you've been wearing besides like what kind of shoes? I mean, no, pretty strange to ask a question like that. But what was, because I might probably tell you what kind of tennis shoes I had because I usually make them last a very long time.
Well, I've got shoes that I've had for 10, 12 years probably. It would have been older tennis shoes, or I have military boots that I used to wear, but they just don't fit. They're not. I've been out of the military forever, so I had some combat boots in my closet that I used to wear occasionally. I don't know if I was still wearing them or not. I mean, I haven't worn them in years, but could have had a pair of work boots. I don't know. So probably over tennis shoes, but if it was wet out, sometimes I wear a boot, like a work boot, or like I said, the combat boots, because they held water out pretty well.
Okay, right.
Yeah, I may have told him that day was wearing out.
Do you know what the phone you had back then? And you have found that phone, do you?
If I do, it's in the closet somewhere. I'm sure to recycle it by now.
Oh, really?
Because I've had this for... I had one die. Books on me. Well, I don't know, it's been a few years now. Several years, not. It wasn't, I know that since that time, I know I've gotten this phone. I don't remember when. It's not been a super long time, but it wasn't. I've had it long enough that I don't remember when I got it.
Do you have that picture of that car?
No.
I don't think I do. Picture of the car on the yeah, we got that one. Liquid. Anyway. So, a couple things I wanted to ask you after I checked my phone, it's just like ringing like crazy. What we would like to do is to be able to confirm some of the information that you've given us so far, to be able to examine your phone. As you're well aware, phones go everywhere with everybody, and they tell a story about a lot of what people do. And sometimes the information on our phone can confirm, or, maybe not necessarily confirm information about what somebody is saying. We have the ability to be able to extract the data from a phone and be able to look at it and be able to tell where somebody was at.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay. Would that be something you would allow us to take care of, do today, and get it done?
How long are you going to have my phone?
Well, we ideally would like to have the phone that you have. When you got that phone, did you take the data from the old phone and move to the
I
new
have
phone?
no idea. I mean, I know. I always try to save contacts.
Right.
So,
So if you had the phone, like, where'd you get the phone at? What service is it?
I go through Team. It's an online service, and a lot of people don't know about it. It's really inexpensive, and I've had it for years now.
What's it called?
Huh?
What was it called?
Team.
Ting, like T-I-N-G.
T-I-N-G.
Never heard of it.
It's online.
So you didn't really go to a store somewhere?
I used to,
Okay.
but I for years now we've been with Ting.
Uh-huh.
You pay full price for your phone, and they have discounted ones, and so usually you'll pay a couple $100 for a phone,
Mhm.
or you can pay $600-700, whichever. But
So they own
as
it.
far as the service, I mean, I only pay around $40 a month for 2 phones, and that's
And is
pretty much everything.
your service provider, is that Ting themselves, or is it another?
I think right now it's probably Verizon. It's one of those deals they use. Of course, all of them do that anymore. They use each other's
The big
towers.
corporate towers. Yeah.
But I think it's like my phone. Some of it depends on what type of phone you have too. Mine is based off of, pretty sure it's off of Verizon right now.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Do you remember what you had back then? 2017.
I know I didn't have this one yet. I don't even know if they were making those yet.
I mean, as far as service provider.
Well, I've had Ting. God, I've had Ting for several years now.
So they may,
I probably would have had Ting.
okay, they may have changed service providers on you. Ting may have used a different service provider.
I don't like, since I've had this phone, I've never had them come out and say, hey, we're changing your provider. It's just I guess kind of the home system that it works off of. Like I said, it's Verizon. I'm trying to think if it's ever been, you don't even hear about AT&T anymore, but it could have been that at one point.
Okay.
I never had it before we lived in Delphi though, so I know, I'm pretty sure because I always got my phone. I work at Walmart, so I get my service plans through them because I got discounts through them. So I know it's been since I left Walmart, so.
Okay.
I mean, so I went through regular hearings prior, but I've been detained forever.
Well, so then what I would like to do, if it's okay with you, would be to have an opportunity to look at the phone and examine some of the data on it. Really would like to get to the phone that you had back then. If you think it's in a closet,
I don't know.
I get it.
Actually, I don't have. I mean, my wife comes home. She'll know if we have it. She'll know exactly where it's at.
Okay, all right. So, if it's okay with
I thought
you,
she recycled them, but she may not.
we can start with this phone. We'll be able to extract the data from that, if that's okay with you. And I have a form that I read to folks before we just started doing something like that. And it goes basically like this: you have the right to require that a search won't be obtained before any search your property. You have the right to refuse to consume consent to a wireless search. You have the right to talk to a lawyer before you give a consent to such a search. If you can't afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you. I've read the statement rights, I understand what rights are, I do not want to at this time. I consent to wireless search by the officers of the police department fully described property, and it'll be your cell phone and a home carrier, and authorize your officers to seize any item of data which they consider as evidence. I understand and know what I am doing. No promises or threats are made to me, and no pressure or coercion of any kind has been used against me. And I would need to have the passcode. Is your phone open, or is it just a passcode, or is it a pattern? Face or what?
There's a finger thing, and then there's a code override.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my question.
Yeah. Any questions? Yeah, I'll try to answer.
Just I don't know. It sounded more like you're like I'm not going to be somebody's fall guy.
Here's a.
I thought we were talking.
I want to help you.
I thought you were trying to find
So
what I
everyone
might have would be helpful, but
everyone
that's absolutely what we're doing.
everyone we talk to, we're trying to eliminate them from any suspicion of being involved in this case.
Sure.
So I get that. What we want to try to do is get as much information together to be able to show, okay, we've looked and didn't find anything. So you understand what I'm saying?
Sure, I get that. I just, like I said, honestly, it makes me that we're even talking. I mean, it's been so long, and I haven't thought about this much, and it's just like I don't want to be somebody's fall guy, and we're going to try to make pieces of a puzzle fit somewhere they don't fit, so we can close this thing. I guess, and I'm not saying you guys. Please don't think I'm questioning your integrity. That's not what I'm saying. I just okay. I mean, I guess that's where I'm at. It doesn't seem like a simple conversation we're having. It seems more like you think I might have done it. So
I understand what you're saying. I completely get what you're saying and how I would feel from your point of view. Okay.
yeah.
But from our situation, what we're trying to do is be able to show what all you were doing that day. Take a look at everything, make sure that we can show that what you're saying is true. Okay, so that we can be able to say to someone else, whoever's prosecuting this case, look, we looked at Mr. Allen, and he's not our guy. And we looked at him because we looked at his phone. And I was going to ask you something else, too, be able to look at your car, and also, with your permission, we'd like to look at your house. And so all these things are very, very important just to be able to.
No, I get that. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to. I mean, if you get to a point where you think that I need further investigating, you want to get a warrant to do it, that's fine. But I'm not going to have somebody going through my house and everything.
Sure. We'll just be honest.
I guess I'm starting to feel more like your main lead or something here, and I'm not going to do that.
Well, we just started, did you understand that because we are so far into this, that I'm sure you see the news, you see state police doing their thing. Well,
For a great while, yeah.
we at the Carroll County Sheriff's Department, and he's an investigator with the prosecutor's office.
Sure.
We decided to pick through the very beginning of this again.
I understand that, I guess.
We're talking to everybody that was out there that day and trying to cross the T's, dot the I's. It's nothing more than that.
And I get that part of it.
So there's no fall guy. That's not.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not trying to question anybody's integrity. I just, I guess like I said, at the point that you think I might have actually done this, then if you want to get a warrant, search my house, my car, my orifices or whatever, that's fine. I mean, I don't mind you looking at my phone or whatever, but yeah. I don't think, I guess my point is I don't think
We're just asking.
Sure. Right. Just asking.
I understand that.
So it is what it is, and we have to ask. So
Yeah, I'm not going to have police out going through my house and stuff. That's just not.
that's fine.
news leaks and somebody here, I just don't need that kind of.
Well, we're trying to keep this very discreet because we do understand what you're talking about. It came out of the Buick, which is not unlike
I understand.
So, you know, we're not interested in making your electric or anything like that. We're trying to get these things figured out.
Sure.
Get it taken care of. So,
Sure.
with that, so you said you would let us look at the phone?
Sure.
Okay, great. And you help us get to the other phone too?
I'll see if I can find it.
Okay, all right. So let me go back to that form and we'll get this phone back to our team, which can do that. So I covered this with you. What kind of phone is it? Can you tell?
It's a Google something or other. It's a Google.
Moving on.
Pixel.
Pixel, okay. That's a black phone, okay. And what is the passcode?
2045.
Okay. All right, great. So I read this to you, so if you have any questions, do you have any questions about your rights about being able to do this? Or we just need your signature to verify that you understood everything?
You know what? Let me talk to my wife before I do anything.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't want to do this because I'm cool with it, but at the same time, I don't want her to get pissed off because I don't know.
It's okay.
We watch TV shows and stuff, and I just, I don't want to be associated with this thing, obviously, more than anybody else does. And am I an angel of a person? No. I mean, I'm like anybody else, and I guess I don't want you, maybe I don't want you looking at every website I visited, and so I think I'll talk to my wife, and if she's cool with it, then we'll do it.
Can I, I'm going to get something, I'm going to show you something just really quick. I'll be right back.
Use the crusher.
To recycle. Sure, you want to know it?
No, I did.
One of these scooters in the other. So, I know we're trying to give you a hard time. I understand we're just trying to get these things taken care
And I
of.
get
It's been
that.
a long time, so.
I get that. But, I guess that's not that I ever question anybody's integrity, but
That's fine.
it's just, I know that it's at a point where, I mean, you want closure. You want closure for a family. And I'm not, again, I don't know you from Adam.
No, it's fine.
I just, but you also can't say it's never happened where pieces have been, we find a piece that's close to fitting and make it fit, and I just don't.
I just want you to see why we came to you. This is from the beginning.
Okay.
It's basically tip 74.
Okay.
That's
I understand. I get you.
I don't want you to think that we're just randomly coming after you.
And you've been,
Oh, I don't think you're coming after me. It's not that.
you've been completely honest with this. You said, well, what the information you can see right there, this gentleman was on the trail between 13:30 and 15:30.
That's true. I mean, I don't think that time that was. I know I wasn't out there that late. I don't know what I told him that day, but I know I wasn't out there till 3:30 or so. Yeah, 3:30.
That would be right around 1:30 until 3:30.
No, I'm saying when I left. 1:30 would have been more the time I would have left.
Okay.
Not gotten that. Because the only reason I remember is because I know I left around 11 o'clock or so because they were getting ready to go do lunch.
Uh-huh.
And I wasn't going to do the lunch thing with everybody, so
And
I
you
just
told
went
us?
home and
All right.
was going to watch the stock market. Thought it was a nice day, and I'd go take a walk on the trail before I did.
Yeah. So things we're asking you, there's nothing any different than we ask anybody else around here.
Yeah, and that's really all the stuff you told us, and there's nothing inconsistent there. So,
I guess I was actually watching my stock, so it must have been working. Yeah, about that. Vehicles parked behind bridge, critical accident. It wasn't, I mean, it was that farmer's pull-off is where I was, yeah.
Different people call.
Sure, gotcha. And you have the information off my cell phone.
Mhm.
So,
Yes, that's what I'd really like to have, that cell phone in particular.
But again, that's why we're here.
Sure. And I get that.
We're trying to find if there's any pieces you missed or anything that you can recollect.
Sure, and that's honestly, that's what I thought this was. And I mean, there's nothing else I can really think of. But as far as searching my house and my phones and like,
Well, let me say, I haven't got to that yet. I just want to let you know those things have been very helpful for us. Okay, I'm not necessarily asking right
how
now.
have they been helpful eliminating people?
What we do is we can say for sure, okay, sure, and we didn't find anything. Okay, that's how we estimate the successfulness.
And I guess I see that. So, I guess when you say progress, it's like we're still where we were. And I'm not saying you haven't made progress.
No.
You obviously have. I'm just saying, like, we're here because we haven't found the guy that did this. And I'm not going to turn into that guy. I'm not going to, I don't want to become the target of something because, like I said, we watch a Dateline every week. We watch everything, and it's one of those, I mean, there's nothing that's going to tie me to it. I'm not worried about that. To have people come and start searching my house and stuff. I mean, my wife doesn't even know I'm here talking to people. So, but I mean, I can look for the phone. I'll talk to her. And, I mean, obviously, anytime that you feel that you need that information quicker, I know you can get it. It's not like you can't get it if you want it. I'm not an idiot.
What information would it be?
Searching my house, searching my phone, searching her.
Well, and again, the reason I said search your house and your car would be to be able to say to someone, look, we did actually take care of this information. We know for sure, okay, what was there, what we found, and that gives us the answer we need for a particular situation that we're dealing with. Sure. It doesn't mean that we're trying to put anybody in a box, anything like that. I know that you brought up several times wanting to be able to resolve the case. No, what we want to do is be able to find a person who
Absolutely.
not
That's what I mean.
not try to put anybody in that box that wasn't responsible for what happened. But
I understand that.
So,
I'm not saying you just want to label somebody, but, you know, I had nothing to do with it. I haven't been a part of this investigation. I mean, I have with what I did, and obviously you questioned me further, and that's fine, but
sure.
It's a horrible thing, and I mean, I don't want to be any more involved in it than what I have to be. If I thought I had something that was useful, by all means, I'd give you anything I had. I just don't know what's going to be useful to you.
Sure, I understand. So that's one of the reasons why we asked for the phone, is we would be to nail down that aspect of it, especially the phone that would have been involved in that situation, which would be the phone you gave the information on to the officer.
Sure.
And also, something that would be very important to look at would be your car, because when somebody does something that's involved in something like this,
Sure.
there might be traces of biological information and data or substances that were left behind inside the vehicle. So,
Sure, I
does that
mean-
make sense? So, would it be helpful for us your car to be able to determine if there be anything like that inside of it, forensically? Okay, forensically means that we have a close examination of the car.
I know that. And then again, like everything else that we're telling you, then we can say, we looked at Rick, we looked at his car, there's nothing in his car. That's the point. That's the whole point of everything.
Yeah, this is how left though, guys. I mean, I'm going to talk to my wife before I do anything. I mean, this affects her as much as it affects me. And I know you guys don't talk to people. I don't hear a bunch of rumors out there, but I mean, I don't want anybody knowing that I talk to you guys.
Oh, I understand.
It's just not
And
something.
we don't do that.
Sure.
That's not something we want to do at all. So, we don't just go out and randomly talk to people and stuff like this.
Sure, I understand.
So, with the phone, you say you want to take some time, more time to think about it. A couple things that I wanted to ask you about. Would you mind, sir, if we step down for a little bit and
Sure.
come back? I'll be okay with you?
And you just
just a few minutes later. That shows it was going out to the trails that day. We get your cooperation. One of the things that you told us was that you had driven out there in your car. You think you driven out there in your car. We have a picture of your car that shows it was going out to the trails that day. Okay? And now, one of the important things for us is to help understand exactly where you were at that day. What was going on? You've already told us that you were out there. That's really, really important. Sure. Okay. Yes. So, with that, what I wanted to do is try to help you work through this whole thing. I'm going to be honest with you. We've been able to talk to your wife. Sure. Talk to your daughter already. This is all happening. We had time to do all that. Sure. And we've heard that you had some issues, even at one point put a gun in your mouth that you were going to do something to yourself, maybe 3 years or so.
Yes.
And, you know, look, there's a lot here that we need to get clarified, okay? As you well know, we have pictures of an individual on the bridge. And to some great degree, you describe that individual as wearing blue jeans, a jacket of the same color as that. It described a hat. It's hard to see the shoes, but they're kind of brown. Okay? And this is a picture that was taken with the phone of one of the girls.
Okay, I understand that.
And the question needs to be, is that you?
If it was taken with the girl's phone, it was absolutely, I mean, it's not me, but I never have met these girls before, so even if I thought it looked like me, if it was taken with the girl's phone, there's no way it could be. I've never met them. I've never seen them.
Okay. All right, so that's
And
what
as far as, well, and let's just start there. I've been dealing with that for years. It's not something new. It's not something because I went out and killed girls. No, I've got psychological problems. Have I had issues? Did I stick a gun? I know how a gun works. And I wasn't going to shoot myself that night. It was probably a cry for help that night. You've obviously talked to my wife. So it is what it is. But I know that you haven't talked to anybody that knows me, has been around me, my family, not my family, that thinks that I may have been involved in this. Would you believe it? This image, this person right here, he's wearing like a Carhartt jacket, just like you just told us. Okay. He's wearing the same clothing that you just told us. We just need to know what happened. Why? Sure. I said I was wearing blue jeans. Now, I think blue jeans is a pretty common thing that people wear. And I said I was probably wearing a black or a blue coat. It could have been a Carhartt, a zip-up with a hoodie in it. I've had black ones. I've had a blue one, or a blue one and a black one. Like, I guess, you're taking what I told you I was wearing and saying that that's me. And so the other kind of, and you're serious. You literally want me to, like, that is a, you want me to say that that's my car? We looked at it matches everything. That is your car. Okay. Well, I'm saying that picture, it's like, okay, there's zero doubt that that's you. Okay, that's
We're
fine.
going to show you what we have and why we need to eliminate it.
Well, sure, the point, sure. All right, well, we're all done then.
Well, here's what
If you want to arrest me, that's fine.
Here's what I want to say to you at this point. Look, we have a lot of information here that we need clarification.
Sure.
And that's exactly why we're talking to you at this time.
Well, and that's fine.
What we want to do is be able to take a look at your cell phone, take a look at all the data, help us out. That would be great. Or, we already talked to your employees, and we already know that they're, and we haven't told them what we know about this. But they say you're a nice guy. And I believe you're a nice guy.
Oh, okay.
Look, I have no reason. We can take a picture for you. We went to your house.
No, you got a job to do. And I get that.
Went to your house.
You sit down here and
we went to your house.
we're having a conversation and
We went to your house this morning, and what we did was knock on the door. You guys inside. We had a nice conversation, and that's great. That's really positive. You came here to the center and drove down. You rode in the car with us.
Yeah.
And we had a chance to sit down and talk. You're not a fellow who is, I think, a mean fellow. You know, you're not the kind of guy that would go out and do something malicious to somebody. So a lot of what we're trying to get figured out here today, right now, is exactly what's going on here. Why is this information showing us one thing, but then you're telling us another?
What is it showing you? What this information? I'm going to say that is, just say that is my car. I told you I could have been driving that car.
Yeah, that's right.
And I don't know what it is but this seems to have taken a turn, you know. You're sitting here, you're talking to me, you ask me things, and I get that.
Most people,
But now it's turning into,
most people have wanted to be eliminated from this.
well, sure.
That's why.
I don't want to be included to begin with. So until the point that you have something that tells you that I did this and you want a subpoena or arrest me or something, I've got nothing to worry about. So but your attitudes towards me have definitely changed, and I don't like the fact that, you know, it feels more like I'm being interrogated, and I'm that's then you're going to tell me that you've already talked to my wife and my daughter and stuff. Like, how straightforward is that? You know?
Well, what would you? Okay, let's turn everything around. Tell me what you would do differently if you were in our situation. You had this information. How would you react? What would you do? You do the same thing that we were doing right now.
What information is it that you have?
We have.
You have that I was out there, and I told you from the very beginning that I was out there.
Yes, you did.
I didn't hide it.
Did you see this guy?
I didn't know.
Okay.
I told you. I see the only person that I clearly remember seeing that, and this isn't from the day. I mean, this is the next day. The only people or person that came into my mind were those three girls that I seen.
We're not upset with you not managing anything like that. We're just trying to get to the bottom. That's okay. No, but I'm not, you know, I'm not here to give you a hard time. I'm just here to try to get the situation straightened out. And what we want to do is simply get to the truth. What would help us get to the truth is being able to look inside of some of the things you're talking about, okay?
And I get that.
Okay.
And maybe on the other side of things, sure. And on the other side of things, if I thought I had something that was going to help you, that would, you know, what do I have that's going to help you?
Okay. Well, I have some questions we want to go through here, if you don't mind. And I think we're done. We have some other questions here that we could go through here. And what I could do, what does that hurt? Some of the questions that we can ask you are simply this. And I don't want you to feel like these questions all sound strange, and it'd be very, maybe even accusing in nature, but I want you to understand I'm not trying to offend you. But it help us out. You help us out by getting to a little bit farther along in this matter.
So, I don't know. Like I said, you talk to my daughter, my wife. What do you want? I can't tell you what happened. I can tell you that if that picture was, I mean, you can sit and take anybody and say, well, if they were wearing this and wearing that, that could be done. If that picture.
This is October 13th. So the weird part of this is they're talking to him and then they leave just for a few minutes. But when they come back in, they're like, you know, we've already talked to your wife, we've talked to your daughter, all of that. It's like, oh my God, what the fuck are you talking about? So he must be in great shape if he did this alone. It wasn't heard. He didn't leave any DNA. Yeah. I can't get past the physical change. Oh, yeah, it's huge. All of this is extremely strange. Did he not tell them the car he drove the first time? Yes. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The next one right now, I'm literally reading right here the script of when Kathy, his wife, comes into the room. Okay. She's about to come into the room on the next one. So This says Kathy Allen is clearly in a state of shock and disbelief because these lying dipshits abuse their positions. So this was written by somebody, this part here, right? But quick review. A ballistic report requires a shooting. There were 0 shots fired. The girls were killed with a knife. The firearms examiner made 3 attempts to match an unspent cartridge at the crime scene to Richard Allen's gun. She only fired it after all 3 attempts resulted in a 100% not a match. The moment the firearms examiner fired it, it was, by default, 100% not a match to the unspent cartridge or RA's gun, period. 8 other people placed themselves on or at the bridge between 2 and 4 p.m. All 8 changed their stories about what time they were there and who they saw numerous times over the years. Richard told Kathy he was out there that day, but because psychosis, because psychos have stalked and harassed her, she is not able to freely clarify semantics of previous conversations on the bridge, across the bridge. These were obviously not fleshed out during the shit show of an interrogation, considering law enforcement had just mind-fucked Kathy into doubting her husband and her own mind with the hopes that they could elicit statements, okay? Reminder that there is not only 0 physical or digital evidence connecting RA to the crime or the victims, there was enough unknown male DNA on the girls' bodies to exclude him. Also, RA's false confessions during psychosis, 6 months into solitary confinement under the care of a true crime fanatic lunatic psychologist who went dumpster diving through confidential files of another inmate accused of murdering the girls, even though the other inmate wasn't her patient, were never supported by any evidence. His false confessions were contradicted by the evidence, as the girls were not sexually assaulted, nor shot in the back, nor buried in a shallow grave. Jury's still out whether RA started World War III, killed Kevin Chris and his grandchildren. Okay, so they're just getting a little silly there, but Holman brings in Kathy. He tells her it's going to be all right. She says, I'm trying to figure out why there's a bullet out there. Richard says, I know. You think I'm not? And that's what I told him. I can't explain something I don't understand. I tried to explain to him that there's no way that a bullet from a gun was at a murder scene because it didn't happen. I didn't even have my gun the day I went out. You know me. This isn't something I could do. And I know that you know. You don't have to tell me that. I know. They really think I did this. And they want me to believe that. I know you know I didn't do this. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But I don't know what they're trying to do here. But I'm not going to say something that's not true, and I can't explain something I don't understand. The only way for me to explain is that I don't know, because it's not possible. There's no way a bullet from my gun ended up in a murder scene. I didn't murder anybody. I didn't help somebody murder anybody. You know, I'm not even going to sit here and try and convince you. I know you know me. I know you know I didn't do this, have anything to do with this. Talk about scheming or something. How did a bullet from your gun get out there? I don't know, honey. They say it came from your gun. I know. That's what believe me, that's what they're telling me. But how did it get there? I don't know. But they said there was one in your box above the dresser that matched it. They showed me that picture too. I can't explain it, and I don't. Kathy, I can't either. They keep asking me, and I don't know how to answer that. Richard, I understand, me either, and that's what I'm trying to tell them. You want to keep asking me, and I just keep telling you I can't explain it. I don't know how to explain something that isn't possible. But I know this is what I know. I know that no bullet from my gun was connected with a murder in any way, shape, or form. And there's no way a bullet from my gun would have been near Abby and Libby's murder or anything else because I never even seen these girls, period. And I didn't even have my gun that day. So that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know how to make that any clearer. I don't know how to make that any... I don't know how to make somebody understand. I get what he's saying. I don't have a way to explain it. Kathy. And then they're like, there's a witness that said it was you out there. Dear, I don't know. And I'm like, how did they know it was you? They said they showed her pictures. And I'm like, of course, you were out there. If they see me out there, then they see me out there, dear. And I told them, but you were on the bridge? I told them I was on the bridge. I first went out to the trestle. I went out to the first trestle. Oh, okay. I don't remember you telling me that. You told me you weren't. So I told them you weren't on it, but I didn't. It doesn't, hon, you're not in any trouble. You didn't do anything. I didn't tell them right. I didn't know you were on it. I'm sorry. You told them you weren't. Huh? You told me you weren't. So I just was... No, I told you that I walked. Okay. I love you, baby. I love you too. This is not good. This is not good. And they're using his anxiety and depression to say that that's what caused him to want to commit suicide, is because of this situation, right?
Was taken from one of the girls' phones. Here's the problem with that.
Because I've never met him.
I know, but listen, here's the problem with that. You know why you can put a lot of people and say they're wearing blue jeans and a blue coat, but you know what the difference is? No, you said you were there. Well, sure, we have people that saw you. Okay.
Ricky said you were out on the bridge yourself.
There aren't that many people that saw me. I mean, I'm sure I didn't miss that many people. If they walked behind me, I guess.
You said that you were out on the bridge, this bridge, yourself that day around the time when this happened.
No, I didn't.
You said you walked out onto the bridge. When we talked to you earlier, you said that you walked out to about the first platform or in that area was on the bridge. That's what you told us. So we know that you were on the bridge.
Of course I was.
Okay?
And I told you that.
And with that, you know, we can say that, is this person you? That's the question. Is that person you? That's the question we have to answer.
Sure.
Okay? So if that person is you, we know this person followed the girls all the way to the other side of the bridge and then told them to go down the hill.
Followed. I don't even know what you're talking about. Like you're saying, don't.
Okay, so the bridge here, okay, this is the girls walking towards the other side of the bridge from where the trailhead is at.
The other side.
The other side of the bridge. And this person followed them all the way to the other side of the bridge where the...
Yeah.
So and then told them to go down the hill.
Okay, so let me stop here. I don't appreciate you trying to talk me into this. No, this is what I said. You're trying to change my words around. I told you I was on the bridge. Now you just told me this is the
over here on this
and
side.
you say that you walked on the bridge.
You said you walked on that bridge that day.
And that first trestle is somewhere,
Back there? Okay.
it's somewhere over there.
Help me understand. Okay, you came out this far. We know that you
I
came
didn't
out,
go out that
you
far
came
that
out, you came out that far is what you told us.
I'm not going to tell you how, I can't tell by that how far out I was.
Okay.
I'm just telling you, you're saying that's me and you're saying this is the far side of the bridge. I don't even go out that far anymore. I haven't for years.
Okay, for years. But back then, that was in 2017. Okay. And the question is this you?
No.
Okay. So you're telling me that this person was out there on the bridge and wore the same clothing that you had on this day, but you didn't see them.
You can't tell me a black Carhartt coat, a blue Carhartt coat, a pullover. I told you I could have been wearing this.
The two kinds of clothing you said you wore that day was either a black Carhartt coat or a blue Carhartt coat. Okay, you said you have blue jeans, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've had
Okay, so put yourself in my chair.
I guess what I'm saying is I'm not going to tell you I wasn't wearing a black Carhartt that day. I told you I could have been. I don't know if that's a black Carhartt. And if it is, it's not mine, it's his.
And you said you have a hat. You normally wear a skull cap that's covered.
I said I carry one.
Carry
So if I was wearing one, it would be like a skull cap or a smaller type of hat or something.
Okay. So this is the situation we're at, okay? Basically this.
This all happened February 2017. Okay. After they got the information off of the phone of the girls, they put out a call for anybody on the bridge or on the trails to come forward that day. He came forward. He said, yes, I was there. This is what I was doing. I saw 3 girls, and that's it, whatever. When that came in, they had an officer interview him in a parking lot, and he did. But they wrote the wrong name on the file, which I don't know if it's that big of a deal, but Richard Allen Whiteman. Then the officer or whoever wrote cleared on it. Years later, right now, October of 2022 is when this video is right here, this interview. Kathy Shank, the volunteer, found that file as she was going through files. And at that point, she said, why was this cleared? She sends it to the higher ups, and the higher ups say, re-interview him. He was on the bridge. This is what he was wearing. It matches our guy. So they bring him in on October 13th. They're very nonchalant at first. Little do they know, in the background, they've already talked to his wife. They've already talked to his daughter. They're looking into his mental health. They're doing all of this. So right now, that's why he's getting agitated, because they made it seem like, this is all, we just want to talk to you and clarify a few things, but that's not what this is at all. They already know. They're thinking in their mind, we got our guy. This is him.
Either you were out there to do this to the girls, or you were out there to be able to introduce the girls to somebody else.
Okay. Good luck finding anything that points in that direction. I mean, it's not me. You're not going to make me believe it's me. You're not going to find anything that ties me to those murders. So I'm not really that concerned. You went from trying to, I don't know what you want to say, get my trust and then slowly lure me into telling you I killed somebody, and I'm not going to do it. I don't know where this changed course.
I'm not trying to give you a hard time, really not. I just want you to put yourself in a situation where we as police officers are looking at all the evidence that we have and what you've told us right now, okay? Okay, not trying to give you a hard time, just want to make sure that we get everything taken care of here. That's why we wanted to look at the things that we wanted to look at.
And that's not going to happen now. I mean, like I said, we're done here. So arrest me or take me home.
I understand. So
arrest me or take me home. I'm done. This is stupid.
Arrest me or take me home.
That day, on that day, you went out there on the bridge, and you were wearing the same clothing, that basically the same clothing that this person here is wearing.
That's what you think. I don't know how you can tell that that's a black Carhartt coat, which is what I told you, a black or blue Carhartt coat. Never mind. This is ridiculous. You're trying to tell me that I gave you a description of this guy and I didn't. I mean, we all looked at this thing for months and years, and to me that doesn't even look like a Carhartt coat.
We've all looked at this thing, that picture of the bridge guy, for months and years. You got to think about that. Even though the picture sucks, you know, the picture's not great. They've all looked at it, you know, in his kitchen or whatever room that was. They had the sketch up of the wanted bridge guy. I mean, clearly everybody around was super aware of this. And I don't even know. No, this audio is not great. The next one's pretty good, though.
We can't say it's not, can you? I mean, neither one of us can.
You're right.
Can't say it's not. I mean, we can't say that it's not a Carhartt coat. We can't say that that hat isn't similar to the one that you have had at one point. So,
Okay.
with all those things in view,
You've lost my trust. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. This is stupid. Now you've pissed me off.
well, I'm sorry.
Okay. Are you arresting me?
Well, I really want to try to get this thing worked out.
Okay.
Okay, I want to try to get this thing worked out.
Am I free to leave or not?
You've always been free to leave.
Thank you. You're an asshole.
Thank you. You're an asshole, is what he said. Thank you. You're an asshole. Well, okay. There's that. I mean, to me, what the hell? Like, what the hell at this point? He just doesn't seem. Maybe he's just a really great actor, right? I mean, what the fuck, man? I don't even know. I don't even know. So you guys down to watch the next one, or do you just want to wait till tomorrow? It's totally up to you guys. The next one is an hour and a half. And it's what time? Oh, it's already 10:15. I should go to bed early. I really should. And it's out there everywhere, but Girls Down the Hill, if it were my brother, I'd know. Of course. If it was a voice that I don't even know. I don't know. And then there were so many people who looked. Listen. Hold on. I have to just pull this up because I'll probably just do the other one tomorrow. But look at this. Look at these. Look at these guys. Please, please. And tell me that there aren't lookalikes here. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. You got of course you have him. Sephora ran near Logan's property. His proximity. Logan's pretty tall. I don't think it was Logan, but there's the bodies side by side. Okay. That's what you got right there. Bodies side by side. I don't know. Man. Yeah, nobody called him. Nobody said anything. I don't know. So then I tried to get as many comparisons as I could in this video, but then you get this guy who is short, but their bullet was, I don't even, listen, when they ask him about that bullet, right? He's like, what? Because they'd already been in his house. And then they say this bullet was found there. That's in his mind, if he's innocent, he's thinking, did you guys fucking steal my bullet and put it there? There's no ballistics testing that you can do for an unspent round. I don't know what that science is, but if it's an unspent round, how do you prove that it's the same bullet? it wasn't fired, so the markings aren't on it. I don't know. To me, I feel like that's pretty iffy science at best. But look at these. These are the tattoos from this dude here. So this dude, these are his photos. These are from his Facebook page. Okay. Yes. Play what? This? This is my video that I have, but I mean, I was very fucking suspicious of Brad Holder. I don't care what anybody says. I was extremely suspicious of this guy. Look at this. Come on, dude. Come on. This is too much. This is too much. I'm sorry. This was on his Facebook. Like, I can't. I don't know. This drives me bonkers. This drives me bonkers. I don't know. I don't know. Look at this. Come on. This gets me frustrated. I hate this case with an absolute passion because I just don't know. Then you got this guy. Oh, there's so many people. There's people who confess, like Elvis Fields, wondering if his spit was found on people. And you get this guy. But he looks different all the time, too. So, I don't know. Same outfits. I mean, what can you say about these people? They all dress exactly the same, too. I mean, it's constant in all these photos. I'm like, why do you all dress the same? Like, what's really going on here? And I mean, you got him and him who look like him, in my opinion. But there's no DNA. There's no... I don't know. Is he band guy? Don't know. No, not band guy. The runes, Elvis's page, all the things. Jury didn't know any of these people and heard a lot more than we did, for sure. And we don't know technically what exactly they heard. You know, I have a collection of all the reporters who went to court and everything that they reported, right? So I tried to put that all together for the series that I did on Delphi. And I only used that information. I just used facts, not my own feelings or speculation, just exactly what they said. And I mean, it was disheartening to know that there were some there who had already made up their minds, but they came on YouTube and pretended that they were being neutral. That really bothered me. That really bothered me. Like, you already made up your mind. We haven't even been to the trial. And I hate that the trial wasn't released for us to see and know what was going on. It sucks. It's not right. But they are very common, like the clothing, the hats that they wear. I mean, look at this hat and that hat. Like, are you kidding me? It's very... And how do you convict somebody with zero DNA? Zero. How does somebody take two girls from a bridge, make them walk down a hill in the dirt and the grass, walk across a creek, go back up onto another bank of the creek, slaughter them in the way that they were killed, not have blood all over you and your vehicle. I mean, unless you just sat there and, rinsed off in the water. But there were people already searching by that point. There were other people on the trails. Nobody saw anything. Nobody saw anything. And when they were searching, if he was still there or around the area, nobody saw him either. It's like a phantom did this, some phantom person. It's just, and then you have the stupid idiot Keegan Kline, who's in for child porn, who talked to one of the girls the night before and the day of the murders and was supposed to meet her there. Then tells her friend, oh, she didn't show up. Except then you tell police that you didn't go. But isn't it weird that they run into a killer? Like you're supposed to go meet them that day and they run into a killer. How? How is that possible? Yeah, Skilo, think about this. Yeah, heard nothing, Steve. Nothing. Think about this for a minute. I get that if he had a gun, maybe they were terrified. And he said, if you speak, I'm going to shoot you. So they didn't scream. Okay, fair enough. They were supposed to meet a child predator who, due to his activity online, kicked off the biggest child porn ring in Indiana ever. Okay? He's chatting with her. They're going to meet. They don't end up meeting. And these girls run into a killer. A killer with no record, with no child porn, no murder porn, no necrophilia, no barely legal teen porn, no nothing. No nothing on his devices anywhere. No inkling that he's this bad dude, right? So you take him and just put him to the side for a second, Richard Allen. Just put him to the side for a minute. Think about this guy here, Brad. Brad is a weirdo. Oh, well, first, think about this guy. You got this guy who was extremely abusive. The bodies were found on his property. He lied about where he was. He calls his cousin to give him an alibi only for the time that the girls were killed. Not for the other time that he also went out during that day and wasn't supposed to be driving due to his convictions, but just for the time the girls were killed. Okay. Very domestically violent, very controlling. Okay, so that's one guy. This guy, Mr. Runes himself, they talk about doing sacrifices. They talk about going out into the woods, having this spiritual connection to whatever they think they're doing, the Norse gods and all of that. Then we find out that the guys in prison have the same patches as these guys do. Him and his buddy. And their other little group of weirdos who go out in the woods and do all the things. So these guys who follow this religion, or whatever it is, have patches that police are wearing in the same prison as Richard Allen. Richard Allen claims they threatened him and they were wearing these patches, and the warden acts like none of this could be true except for the fact that it was true. Then, when the lawyer's trying to interview Richard Allen, They're being watched intently and listened to, which is completely against the rules. He comes out looking like a whole corpse in his court hearings. His son is connected to one of the girls. He acted like he'd never met her, but he had. He told them no, but he did. I don't understand any of it. How could any of this be accurate? How could it be? How could any of this be? I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. It's so much. Yeah. Then the FBI special agent in charge of the Safe Street Task Force gang investigation starts investigating the Odinist and he gets murdered. Yeah. They're all weirdos. Elvis said he spit on them. He told his sisters that he did it. He told them. He confessed to them. A white car with paper plate. He said he did. Yeah, it wasn't that one. I mean, you're saying you did this and then what? I don't understand. Yeah, Elvis has got to be in here. This one. I mean, he said it. Some names. So you're admitting that you did this. You're saying you did. Yeah, that's Logan's ass. This is Elvis's shit. Yeah, and said that he had to put horns on the girls, but Gray Hughes says that, I mean, this is a picture that I have of the real picture of her hair. And Gray now has me convinced that this is actually hair and not horns. But there were pictures drawn of what people said it kind of looked like. But anyway, he said that they had to put horns on them because on her because she was bad. She was acting bad. But he also told his sisters he did it. So that they were in the woods and they were there and they did that thing to the girls. So I can't. It's too much for me. No, not sus at all. Yeah, he got murdered. Yeah. Yeah, and he did all of this by himself in 20 minutes. I have no words either. I don't. I don't. And then the Odinist prison guards weren't allowed to wear their dress-up patches to work anymore. But they were allowed to wear that while they were guarding Richard Allen. He told his wife that they were threatening him in there. Well, you're telling me that these don't look to you like the drawings that people did don't look to you like some kind of weird hold on. Sorry, my husband's asking me where the dogs are. They're hiding. I don't know. It's all crazy to me. None of it makes sense. Tomorrow we will play the interview that he does with Holman, and things get extra spicy. Either I'll do that in the morning or I'll do it after we stream on the other channel, Lori Vallows. Yeah, Gray's mad. She should have never been. She should have never been posting anywhere. Yep, Brett Holder. We'll see. I hope. If he's innocent, and I can't see how he's not. It's all so weird. But tomorrow, we're going to listen to the phone calls, so it may change our minds. I don't know. I don't know. We may all have a whole different feeling tomorrow after listening to the phone calls, right? We may be like, oh my God, yeah, he definitely did it. Shut up. Who knows? We'll see. Yeah, that judge sucks. I hate that fucking judge. Yeah. I wonder that too. I mean, I know that, I've met the grandparents and stuff when I've been to CrimeCon, and it's heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking. And you know that they want closure, seeing them at CrimeCon and still fighting for justice for Abby and Libby at that point before Richard Allen was arrested. You just pray, okay, let it come forward. I don't know. Preferences after. I'm not a morning person. Me either. Probably after. All right, off I go. I love you so much, okay?